You're always nice, Dan.
But yeah, please don't feel you have to put that pressure on yourself, Dan.
I think there'll be some people that want to disagree with me always being nice, but especially the drunk driver that ran into my fence.
Oh.
Unfortunately, they didn't catch him. They chased him down through the creek and he got away.
Did?
Yeah, they hit my fence and hit my daughter's car, and the sheriff's officer came back. He's like, I'm so sorry. He outran me. I'm like, dude, you just ran through a whole entire creek to try to catch him. I think you tried well enough.
Yeah.
Well, next time chase him with your patrol car when he's running down the street, though. Don't get out and try to catch him because the guy was fast. I'm like, there's no way I'm catching him. He's like, yeah, I probably should have drove down until he left the street. I'm like, yeah, probably next time. His sergeant told him the same thing. It was funny. I think we have a quorum, don't we, Veronica?
7, 8.
Real close to it. Yeah.
11, 12. And we need 10. So yes.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get started then. It's 1:33. Now you're doing roll call, right, Veronica? Because we don't have
Yeah.
Rachel. Okay.
Yes.
So was there any public comment on anything?
I did not receive any advanced public comment requests.
Okay. Do you want to verify quorum for me?
Yes. When I call your name, please acknowledge somehow and let me know you're here. Q Anthony is not present. Luz Martinez, not present. Roseanne Ibarra, Lisa Judd, Jacqueline Williams.
Here.
Thank you. I'm going to call Wynn Novotny for Manzanita Services.
Here.
Thank you, Wynn. Grace Peeler.
Here.
Paul Davis. I don't see Paul. Senya Levicho. Don't see her either. Karen Lovato.
I am here.
Thank you. Brady Nord.
Here.
Thanks, Brady. Amanda Archer. Thank you. Judy Albert.
Here.
Camille Schrader. Or anyone else from Redwood Community Services? Ann McIntyre.
Here.
Noble Waydelic.
Here.
Rachel McDavid.
Here.
And Sandra Stolfi.
Here.
I must have
Hey,
recount.
Noble, you need to teach us how to say your last name, Noble. I've heard it mutilated 3 different ways since you joined. How are we supposed to pronounce your last name?
Weidlich.
There we go.
Waidlick. Okay. All right. We have 11 members present. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Was there any corrections to the January 25th, 2021 minutes? Oh, they're going to be provided at the next meeting. Never mind, I can't read.
Okay. I didn't get them done. Sorry.
Yep, that's fine.
Rachel left the county since our last meeting, so it's down to me. We're trying to get me support again.
No
Okay.
worries.
Okay. Thanks.
So updates from local jurisdiction. Karen or Megan?
Karen, do you have anything to say first? I think the only thing that I really had to just say, and I think everybody's probably seen it because they're paying attention to the various different news entities, but Mary Alice Williford is acting as the interim public health director. So I think that's the most newsworthy of note.
And that's not interim, that's permanent?
It is interim. No, it's interim.
Interim, okay, thank you.
So should I pick up from here? Dan?
Yeah, Megan.
Okay. So I had two things I wanted to bring to your attention. First is that the California State Audit that we discussed in closed session a couple weeks ago was released. It's a little hard hitting at the state level. So when Veronica and I were going through this audit process, we didn't realize that the legislature or the state auditors was actually aggressively auditing the state side of homelessness as well. We thought it was just because they were very professional and didn't tell us this. So the bulk of the audit is really around the state agencies that are handling homelessness, which is kind of interesting and unexpected. So Mendocino County is one of the 5 COCs that were also kind of pilot audited in the midst of all of this audit. The things that they highlighted for Mendocino were ones we'd already discussed with you. So I'll just leave you to read it at your leisure if you want. Veronica's provided a link to it, and I think a one-page summary of it as well in the board packet. There hasn't been much. We've heard nothing about this since it was released. I'm not anxious to draw attention to it. So it's just there and out there. I suppose if there is some follow-up questions or we get some questions about it, we'll come back to the board and talk about how to handle that. But so far, there has been no, I don't think, I haven't heard anything, Veronica, specific to Mendocino County in terms of any news outlets picking it up or anything like that. But is there any questions about the audit here? So at some point, I don't want to do it today. we should, again, in open session, review the findings for Mendocino County COC specifically, because we will have to kind of report back to them, I think, on a 60-day and 90-day and 6-month schedule or something like that. So I think we'll probably put that on a board agenda for a future meeting to just, again, review the specific findings related to Mendocino County and see which of them require a response. Some of them we're already well underway with. Others are something that I think the board is going to have to kind of maybe move more aggressively with sooner rather than later. And I'm thinking specifically of a 1-800 number, a single number to call for homeless and housing resources, which is something this board and this COC has talked about for probably years. So this is another reminder that we need to get that done. That is one of the findings in the audit. So I'll pause there and see if there's any questions. Any questions from anybody? Jackie?
Mine's a comment. When you read the fact sheet, I feel like, homeless service providers get re-traumatized again, because they're talking about the need to do an annual gap analysis, the need to do, we're beginning as a community to work towards looking at these things from a county-wide level. But if you read this stuff, it's almost as if it fits for entitlement communities that get, a bucket of money that then they have to justify why they spent it that way. For situations like small rural counties, it just kind of ticks me off in that we could, we could do all this, but many of the biggest gaps require real significant funding. And even with all the additional funding we've received over the last couple of years, this would be like a 12-year plan, not a 2 or 3 year plan. And so I just think the state's in it's tricky to do audits and then come out with a statement statewide when there's such a disparity amongst different counties. But I work closely with Tehama County Child Welfare just to help provide some services at the treatment facility that they don't have in Tehama County. I mean, if I'm feeling that way, I can't imagine what a tiny little county
Mhm.
who doesn't even have a COC feels like, and how they would ever meet these, these things. So it just seems like a really big undertaking.
Or the
Um,
COC, or the COC that covers like 7 counties, right? Because Glenn, Tehama, Butte, Modoc, Del Norte,
Yeah.
Siskiyou, and all those are all in one COC.
Right. So, it's just it doesn't keep us from doing what we do. I also think that the entitlement communities or entitlement communities in entitlement counties have an administrative group that often is not in the county. I mean, they have resources to do the data collection, to do some things, and do this like annual, survey and all that stuff that they've had the ability to do that for a while. So I feel like maybe this criticism is more directed at that situation, but I'm trying to imagine how we'd ever even do it.
I do think in specific to the gap analysis, and Veronica should weigh in here though, the auditors did recognize, and I think that even at the state level, that there's not a lot of clarity about how to do that. There's not a lot of clear direction from HUD. So that I think the criticism around the gaps analysis was shared equally with the state as well, and not just the individual COCs. So and in terms of just Mendocino County, if we just look at it from our perspective, we were very fortunate that we had just finished the strategic plan.
Right.
So that was really, really good timing on our part. So, because there were some other counties that didn't even really have an up-to-date strategic plan, or we're really starting much further back even than we were in terms of having an organized focus and a plan. So I have to be honest, I haven't fully read every of this audit once it came out, because I've also been super busy, and I was like, okay, there it is. But
It'll put you to sleep.
it's what?
It'll put you to sleep or raise your blood pressure.
Or so I thought, what was the point? But I mean, I should read it, obviously. But Veronica, did you want to weigh in?
Yeah, I wanted to share that as I'm reading the audit, and I think I've got farther along than you have, Megan, but I'm really going slow because I want to understand it, and I'm writing notes as I go along. Because I noticed that there were some things they changed after they sent us a draft, and then we reviewed the draft. But what we sent back, what is in the report is different. There are some statements in there I don't agree with that I never even got to see before. And I also am getting the sense that this audit was not of the COCs. This audit was of the state. What is it? The BCSH, Business Consumer Finance, something. But they're tasked with helping COCs perform better, not just give us more money to do more things, but to actually help us do a gaps analysis. What do you do? It's their job to help us figure that out. That's what the state is requiring of them. And what this audit found is the only thing that the HCFC, the council, has actually been able to do is get more money in the community in throughout our state. And so they wanted to find out, well, where are our COCs in this? And, is this council and is the state providing the support that they're required to do? And this audit shows no, they haven't. There's various reasons, there's staffing, there's other reasons, but regardless, this is showing that the state is failing the COCs, not the other way around. And the fact sheet doesn't say what COCs were included, so I thought I'd just go on record with saying what they are. They're the Fresno City and County / Madera County COC, their entitlement. There's us, we're non-entitlement. County of Riverside, their entitlement. Santa Maria / Santa Barbara County COC, again, entitlement. And the 5th is San Jose / Santa Clara City and County COC, also entitlement. So we're the only non-entitlement COC that was included in this audit, which I think is why a lot of the things you're seeing reflect don't really reflect our community because it's smaller and different. So just to have that context.
So Veronica, entitlement means they're guaranteed funds.
That means that for like the ESG funding through HUD, those COCs or providers get to, because they're entitlement and they're large enough, they're contracted directly with HUD. It's HUD and then that homeless service provider, and that's it. With a non-entitlement jurisdiction, we're too small to warrant a contract with HUD. So they give the money to the state and we apply to the state who manages it. So non-entitlement means you have to go through your state's program to gain access to the funding.
So Judy, one of the things that I think that does is it provides those, super big communities with a little more consistency and assurance of funding.
Oh,
So-
assurance of funding.
Yeah, so I think that that's how come some of them have an administrative arm that does the data collection and, some of this stuff, because, that's required when you're as big as, some of those, like, I can't imagine San Bernardino and places like that.
I will say, that being said, even though we were like one small rural county competing, if you were competing in audit against these other counties, we look fairly good. We definitely don't stand out as more problematic than the others. I'd say we're right there. So, I mean, if there, I think that I'm actually pretty proud of that because Veronica worked really hard. I mean, there was, this was an incredible amount of work and what they were asking us to provide and evidence that we've done this and that and all that. And, I'm really pleased that we look as good as we do, really.
I think there's another way we look good that we don't showcase. And that is what we provide and how much it costs us to provide. If you read this fact sheet, they're not that flavor of kind of like ESG asks you to have in a shelter application, the ratio of staff to clients served. At the end of the day, we need to kind of look at clients served to dollars spent. And so I think that is another new frontier for the state one day, because I just think the additional money that we've all received is going to, raise some eyebrows, and people are going to want to know what more were you able to do. I think we need to be prepared to demonstrate how we spent it and how many people were helped by it. And I would think it's going to be harder to do for really big places, but you never see those expectations in these blurbs that they send out.
And that's what the state council that was established in 2017, those are the things that they're supposed to help us figure out to do.
So thank you for that. So again, you can read through the audit at your leisure, or not, whatever you want to do. And the other quick update from the county is I just want to remind everyone that Project Home Key, which will be reopening as Live Oak Apartments. We're accepting referrals right now. I think almost all of you are well aware of this or are sending in referrals or both. And this would be the week to get your referrals in or talk to us about the project. The tenant selection committee will be meeting for the first time next week. So we're really beginning to kind of make final selections on who will be in that building. And I do want to announce, although some of you probably already know it, that our CHDC staff has kindly agreed to do the property management part of this project. We kind of had to twist their arm and they finally gave in. So we're really excited about that. And I particularly want to thank you, Dan. I would have been really sad and confused without you being part of this project. So I'm really, really grateful to be working with our CHDC on this.
We'll just add the stack of my other crazy yes answers.
So our website is live, projecthomekeymendocino.org. And, let me know if you have any questions. We're excited about this project. It's going to be kind of awesome.
And all information that you need to complete a referral is available on that website. We also highly recommend that you always go to that website when completing a referral in case there's an updated form, so that you get the most recent form.
I'm sorry, could I get that website again, please?
It's on the agenda.
Go ahead.
and
Yep.
it's project.
okay, thank you.
.com.
Yeah, projecthomekey.mendocino.org, actually. And
.org.
Rachel, we definitely are welcoming, we would like more applications from seniors. We have quite a few senior referrals already, but we definitely, that's, one of our priority populations.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
And I'm looking to see if there's any questions, and I don't see any hands raised. So I'm done, Veronica and Dan and Jackie. What happened to, who's in charge here? Did Dan
Oh, where
disappear?
did Dan go?
Dan's here, but Dan has an emergency phone call. So Jackie, can you take over for a second?
You bet. You bet. He just did that because you conned him into being the,
He's like, I'm done, I'm out of here.
I'm out of here. It's your fault, Megan. Okay, so where are we? We are still on local jurisdictions.
Right.
City of
Right.
Ukiah.
City of Ukiah. Is Shannon with us or Noble? Do you have any updates?
I'm here. I don't really have any updates other than we've been working with the county on both the homeless end and on the mental health end, and are appreciative of that. So other than that, as the police department goes, we're still short-staffed and looking to hire more officers. We just did another round of recruiting. Some of you may have seen that, various social medias, and that's about all I got.
Thank you, Noble. Tabitha or Sarah? Did I see Sarah? No. Okay. Any other jurisdictions would like to make a comment before we move ahead? Without Dan and Shannon, are we able to do a strategic plan update?
So, the committee hasn't met since the last meeting.
Okay.
So there's no formal updates to provide. But Megan and I will be working back to schedule a committee meeting to discuss our next phase of plans for the ESG CARES Act funding.
Okay. So is the strategic plan, the next strategic planning meeting calendared yet? Or
Not yet,
Okay.
to be determined.
To be
Yeah.
So really, there's no official update.
Okay, no update.
Yeah.
Angelica, do you have a shelter and solutions report?
Hi, everyone. After a brief hiatus, we will be having our next meeting Monday, March 22nd at 10 a.m. So that's our regular time, the fourth Monday, but bringing it back.
Great, thank you. I don't know that we have a coordinated entry discharge planning update, V.
Sage contacted me earlier today and said they have no update.
Okay. I'm anticipating no membership committee meeting either.
Well,
Okay.
I do have updates though.
Yay!
I wanted to first take a minute and bring your attention to the third item in your packet. Susan Wynn Novotny has reached out regarding their membership with the COC. Wynn, do you want to go ahead and take over, or do you want me to dive in?
I'm back.
Go ahead and dive.
Okay.
Dive away.
Okay, so Wind has formally announced that she will be retiring at the end of this month. Yay for self-care and moving on with bigger and better things. And as such, will no longer be able to represent Manzanita Services on this board, and has officially submitted her resignation. Sarah Martin has been appointed interim or ongoing. I don't know. Sarah Martin's taking over. Will either one of you talk a little?
That's scary.
Sarah took over a while ago. Sarah's our clinical director. And the board is in the process of interviewing for a final determination on my replacement. And Sarah's doing all things interim.
All right. So does anybody have any comments or anything before I move on to the next update on it? Thanks for everything, Wind. It's been great working with you.
Thank you.
I've also included the COC board member roster with the term dates. And I wanted to bring to your attention that we have several board seats that will be expiring in the upcoming months. Most of them, it looks like all of them in April. So we will need to do nominations at the next meeting, because I'm not prepared to accept nominations right now unless.
Right. No, I think that's fine, Veronica. Really should.
Yeah.
So, and there's looks like there's eight of you.
Veronica, there is a mistake there because my role was in 2019. It started in 2019. I was not working for the VA in 2018. So.
Right. It's not about you as an employee, Sandra. It's about when the VA was placed into that position. So whoever was there before, I believe, would have.
It was Will.
It was
Will.
Yeah.
Will started in 4/16/2018, and so even if the board representative changes, it's still that organization. So the Veterans Administration has been held this board seat since 4/16/18, and it's a 3-year term. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then after this is the Veterans Affairs is going to continue on the board?
So let me explain what the next steps are.
Yeah, okay.
For everybody, not just you. So anyone who board term is expiring soon, you're welcome to nominate yourself again or accept nominations by another organization to continue serving. The minimum requirement is 3 years. So if an agency may want to step back and no longer do it, and this gives them the opportunity to be able to state that. It also allows other organizations to be nominated for the seat. And then, so what we'll do is we'll be accepting nominations for these 8 board seats at the next meeting. And then the full COC will need to, so the full membership, not just this board, will need to vote on those nominations to make a determination on which agency has been selected. Make sense? Sandra, do you have any other questions?
So you will be sending the form for the nomination, yes? Because last time it was like my manager, he signed the form and sent it to the Mendocino County. So it will be the same.
So that was actually to appoint you as the representative of the VA for the COC. This is a different process. There's no actual form for it. Just we accept verbal nominations, or you can send me an email if you want to nominate someone, and then we'll have all of those identified at the March meeting.
Okay.
And then anyone who's nominated and has accepted nomination will be put on basically we're going to vote. I'm going to create a ballot, and then we'll vote on that to determine which agencies will go forward. Hi, Paul. Welcome.
Hi. Very late.
Okay, so be prepared for that. Paul, you're included in that with Mendocino Coast Hospitality Center's 3 years on the board is coming up to expire in April. So we'll be accepting nominations for those upcoming seats at the next meeting. And that's all the member or committee updates that I have, membership committee updates.
So Dan, now we're on HMIS performance measurement.
Gary, do you have anything?
No, I don't have anything. We had a meeting last month. I was not there to attend, so I don't know what took place with that meeting.
Okay, thank you.
I was there, and to give you guys some background, and we're going to be making some decisions, or I'm asking you guys to make some decisions later on in this on this agenda for this related topic. For the HMIS capacity building grant that we received, we are improving with HUD's guidance, our COC governance charter, and our HMIS policies and procedures. Through this work, we uncovered a document that I thought got abandoned a long time ago. It's called the HMIS governance charter. It got lost somewhere along the way when there was staffing changes at the county level. However, I was able to find the HMIS governance charter that had been reviewed by a HUD TA organization called CSH, or Corporation for Supportive Housing. CSH had reviewed the HMIS governance charter along with the COC governance charter and identified areas where they conflicted one another. And they also reviewed the HMIS governance charter to ensure that it contained everything it needed to. Since that was done, since we received that, there was no work that was done on that TA guidance. And so we've picked it back up. When we did this back, I believe it was June 2014, when the HMIS governance charter was presented to the HSPG. It wasn't even the COC.
This is like Kathleen Stone time.
This was when Sandy came on. It was between Kathleen and Sandy, and I think things got lost. I remember working on it and doing it, but I don't remember ever actually using it once we got it created because it needed some work. So we've recovered it, and as we're working with HUD TA, we're actually finding that it's probably going to be a whole lot easier if we took the contents of the HMIS governance charter and embedded them instead into our COC governance charter and our HMIS policies and procedures. This would include HMIS information in our COC governance charter, which doesn't currently have much in it. It says that the COC is responsible for having an HMIS, but it doesn't talk about any of those roles or responsibilities or what's entailed in that. And that we want to add that detail and that information to it, but not so much that it bogs it down. And then have the COC governance charter reference our HMIS policies and procedures, where we've got the in-depth policy, all of the information and everything. But that way the COC governance charter stays a working document and it's actually readable.
Right.
Sounds reasonable.
And so as far as the committee goes, the HMIS lead organization, HHSA, presented this idea to the committee, and the committee was in agreement with it.
Good.
So they supported it and recommended it go to the board. And that's all.
Okay. Do you have a report on the ad hoc for the point in time count, Veronica?
Nothing's moved forward with the 2020 executive summary because we changed our focus to the 2021 sheltered count, which Gary, can you provide a little bit of an update where we're at? I know that you're entering the surveys into the system that you have. Could you give a little more of an overview?
Sure. We are entering them into the system, into a spreadsheet. Also, they're entered into HMIS as well. Sorry for my background noise, and I have people putting on a new roof, and my dog's going crazy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we're going to do a comparison to see where we stand. But it's pretty exciting that we have the shelter information in HMIS that we could pull from to use for our reporting to HUD.
And for those of you who don't quite get what that meant is our shelter programs that use HMIS did not have to complete the full surveys with their clients this year because we're pulling it from HMIS instead of doing an interview. So that saved our sheltered programs a lot of time and effort. Right, Paul?
Okay.
And that's all.
Okay. So do you want to go into what the board's recommendation is for the HMS now?
So for the HMIS governance charter, it's basically exactly what I said before, that we would like to consolidate that document into the other two and eliminate it as a standalone document. So, but we did not want to do it without approval from this board, as the HMIS governance charter had been adopted by the entity that preceded the COC that became the COC. So kind of by the COC.
So what do you need from us? Can that be done in this meeting or can it be done in the next meeting?
I need approval. I just need a motion to say that the board approves consolidation of the HMIS governance charter into the COC governance charter and the HMIS policies and procedures.
Somebody want to make that motion?
I'm happy to make that motion.
Okay.
Second for that motion?
I'll second.
Wind, okay.
Keep it all together. We won't forget we have one hanging out there.
Right. Jackie first.
Any questions or discussions on that? No, then we'll do a roll call, Veronica.
All right.
And just for record, I know you probably say, but Camille's here, so.
Yes, Camille has joined, as has Paul. Sorry, Camille, I didn't bring attention. I was scatterbrained, sorry. So I will make sure I have you on the attendance sheet, so I will call your name. So when I call your name, please say yes, no, or abstain to the motion to consolidate the HMIS governance charter into the COC governance charter and HMIS policies and procedures. Jackie Williams.
Yes.
Oh, wrong button. Okay. Wynn Novotny.
Yes.
Grace Peeler.
Yes.
Paul Davis.
Yes.
Karen Lovato.
Yes.
Brady Nord.
Yes.
Amanda Archer.
Yes.
Judy Albert.
Yes.
Camille Schrader.
Yes.
Dan McIntyre.
Yes.
Noble, Waydell.
Yes.
I'm trying. Rachel McDavid
Yes.
and Sandra Stolfi.
Yes.
Motion passed unanimously. Thank
Okay.
you. So I'll just go ahead and move into the next one if that's okay with you, Dan, because it's related. So the COC, the HMIS lead as the grantee of the HMIS capacity building grant, we have a deadline to have our revised policies and procedures and revised COC governance charter to HUD on March 30th. So we're working on them actively. Kirsty's been putting a lot of effort into it, and we really feel like we're going to be able to pull this off by next month. But those documents have to be approved by the full COC membership in order to be approved. So I'm requesting that the March COC meeting be both a board and a full membership meeting so that we can approve those two revised documents.
Okay, you need a motion for that?
Yes.
So you want to make a motion to make the March 15th meeting a full membership meeting as well as a general member?
I'll do that.
Judy?
As you said, yeah.
A second for that motion?
I second.
Okay, Grace. Any discussion or questions? Roll call, Veronica?
Please say yes, no, or abstain when I call your name. Jackie.
Yes.
Wind.
Yes.
Grace.
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
Karen.
Yes.
Grady.
Yes.
Amanda.
Yes.
Judy.
Yes.
Camille.
Yes.
Thank you. Dan.
Yes.
Noble.
Yes.
Rachel.
Yes.
Sandra.
Yes.
Motion passed. Thank you.
Okay. So we're going to go on to funding. There's still no cash update, correct, Veronica?
We're going. Money's being spent. I got to process more invoices. Everything's going strong.
Do you want to give an update on ESG briefly?
Yes. I'll be as brief as I can. So first I want to provide an update on our regular ESG balance of state funds. The 2020 balance of state ESG awards have been released. I still haven't been able to get a list of what organizations were approved. I know Redwood Community Services was approved for $200,000. Paul, did you hear anything?
They sent me the notice. Yeah.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
All right. I wasn't sure if you guys
Get what? Wait, what are we talking about?
the 2020 Balance of State ESG Award.
Oh,
Regular
no,
one.
I haven't heard anything about that. I thought you meant the other one.
Yeah. They've notified the organizations that they've awarded funds to. So if Mendocino Coast Hospitality Center hasn't heard back, I assume that maybe you weren't granted. We'll want to look into the reasons why and any deficits that you have during this upcoming year. We can look at making sure you have enough funds through ESG CV. So if we need to supplement some funds over at Hospitality House or wherever else to make sure that you guys can continue operations, I think we've got this COC would be open to looking at making sure you don't have to reduce services. Also, a while back, the HUD had some additional funds available for the 2018 grant year. And so the state decided to award those funds as for wildfire recovery relief. And we started that process, like May, April, something like that. Mendocino Coast Hospitality Center has completed their contract amendment process and gained access to the funds on January 29th of this year. But the contract expired on February 12th, 2 weeks later, exactly 14 days later. So the state asked for an extension, which they got, but we don't know what that is yet. Keith, I'm going to mute you because I'm echoing. So the state has requested an extension. HUD has said yes, but we don't know what that extension is. So we should be able to gain access to some additional rapid rehousing funds really soon. Like I said, Hospitality Center is just completed the process, and Redwood Community Services is still in process. And this COC decided to take those funds and use them as rapid rehousing and split them evenly between our two established ESG rapid rehousing providers. Any questions on the balance of state? There's a lot.
Nope.
Okay, so for the CARES Act funding through the Emergency Solutions Grant, so this is the COVID-19 relief funds, for our emergency shelter request for proposals, we received 3 responses. And so we're proceeding with contracts with Redwood Coast Hospitality Center, Project Sanctuary for the first time, yay, and Redwood Community Services. So those are in process and we're working on them. I've completed the round 2 application process and I'm awaiting the state HCD to get through their approval process. And our next steps with this is we'll be working back with the Strategic Planning Committee regarding releasing a request for qualifications for all other funding types, project activities. So street outreach, rapid rehousing, homeless prevention, and HMIS. So anything in ESG that's not emergency shelter. And we're also going to be using that same request for qualifications for our first round of HAP funding to be released through the COC funding. So just kind of update on that.
Yeah, and I do want to piggyback on that. I know this is like a lot of stuff all at once. And I want to just emphasize what Veronica just discussed, an RFQ, kind of a large RFQ for a variety of services is not a concept that we've yet brought to the Strategic Planning Committee, but which we will. So I just want to leave that this is kind of right now, Veronica and my idea that we've floated with a couple of you, but it hasn't kind of gone formally through the strategic planning process. But we need to get it going anyway. So the concept with an RFQ as opposed to an RFP. So the RFQ is request for qualifications. We'll be asking the community, all of you included, what kinds of, what are you qualified for in terms of all these different activities? It will speed up our contracting and awarding process in the future if we've had everybody respond in whatever capacity they think they might be able to support the homeless services system of care. Does that kind of make sense? Okay. What Veronica and I have been navigating really, it's been really tricky, is like large pots of money, a lot of different people who have opinions about it, unclear who has authority over it, and kind of a sense of urgency in getting these resources out to the community as efficiently as possible. So it's been hard to figure out all those pieces.
All right. Is that all you had on that next steps for Veronica?
Yes.
Okay. And there's no updates on HEAP. Were we rolling that?
Dan, I'm sorry, can I step back for 1 second? It's like a totally earlier topic that I spaced out on. The board just agreed to a full membership meeting for the March meeting.
Yes.
But we also do need to refill seats in the April meeting. So I guess I'm thinking it's a full membership meeting for March and April. Right? Okay, I see Veronica nodding, so I just wanted to be clear on that.
We're gonna to have basically 3 full membership meetings this year, right, Veronica?
Well, we'll end up with 4 now or something like that.
Yeah,
we'll
March,
have a total of 5. January was our first one.
Right, 1 more than we normally would have.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay, I just want to be clear on that.
And I'm finished with ESG. And I have no HEAP updates. I don't know about Megan though. HEAP?
No. But starting in March, if we have some projects that I'm kind of looking at you, Judy, a little bit. Project Sanctuary needs to, I know you're aware of it. So in March, if it looks like Project Sanctuary is not going to be able to, we may have a discussion in March. I'm garbled here. Forget it. I have no update right now. There might be one in March. But I see Judy. I don't know if Judy wants it. Project Sanctuary is struggling really hard to get their project done. There's been a million delays for a bunch of different reasons, but we think that it's going to work out. I'll just leave it at that.
That's the kindest thing you can say, Megan.
Okay.
I feel Judy's pain.
God.
I completely feel your pain, Judy.
Okay, and there's no update on HAP. I know that's still working, Veronica. And then the FUP.
It's not our funding. It's through CDC. It was added before my time. So.
Okay.
No COC program updates either.
Okay, is there any other projects we need to discuss? No. So Veronica, do you want to go over this announcement? I'm assuming you know what it's about.
So there's a flyer at the last page of your packet. The National Association to End Homelessness is holding a virtual conference March 8th through 10th. They're 3 half days. So they're East Coast times and they're 12 to 4. So 12, 11, 10. So they're 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Kind of weird with the lunch break and stuff. But so it's a 4 hours for 3 days in a row. It's a really great conference on services to different populations and things like that. So in speaking with Megan, the COC is responsible for providing training to our members and different providers. And so we wanted to, through our ESG-CV funding, we have funding set aside for training, and we wanted to offer a few slots to our community, to our COC members, preferably those who are either strategically minded and highly involved or are direct service providers who are actually doing the work. We've offered 1 slot to all 3 of our ESG CV contractors that we have so far. The home team members will be attending. And I sent out an email to the full COC member list asking if there's offering 2 additional slots to our COC members. So I wanted to make sure that I brought it to your guys' attention. This will have occurred before our next meeting. So this is my only opportunity really to get this out there. If you want to attend or have one of your staff members attend, please send me an email. Let me know. And because I need some registration information. But please, if you're interested, let me know.
Okay. Any other announcements from any other members? Okay. So the next meeting is March 15th, 2021 at 1:30 on Zoom. So it's the third Monday in March. And that will be a general membership meeting. And I don't have anything else. I think we are done. That was a speed meeting. Hey, Veronica and Megan, if you guys have a second after this meeting is done, I had another question for you unrelated to the COC.
Okay, I can stay. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wing. I'm going to miss you.
I'll stay in the community. You'll see me.
Okay.
Thanks for all you do, everyone.
Bye. Bye, everyone. We'll see you soon, Wind. You're not going anywhere.
Bye, Win.